Alright, g'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sophisticated Bogan. Adam here. So I've had some questions about painting engines and also the debacle that I had to go through. Okay, so for the painting process, prep is key. Making sure that you've got a clean surface free of contaminants. So when you've got it all sanded down, you need to use stuff like wax and grease remover. It's also known as Prep-Sol. That's what I used to use when I was a detailer. We just called it Prep-Sol because preparation solvent is what it sort of is. Anyway, so make sure if you're going to be painting an engine, make sure you use heat primer and heat paint. If you want to go further with clear coat, making it all super glossy and everything, then there is a heat clear coat available as well. Go for a reputable brand. It doesn't have to be the most expensive, but don't go the cheapest either. Okay? Alright, so, well, your boy's an idiot. Well, not completely an idiot, but yeah. So, with the engine, how we had water going into it. Now, what I hadn't realised is that bloody cat fur on here. Anyway, what I hadn't realised is that, well, I took the spark plugs out so that I can investigate, with the torch, having a look down to see if there was anything wrong. And I just, for the life of me, couldn't see why. Anyway, so in the spark plug tubes is a weep hole. So when I took the spark plugs out and had a look at each one, I noticed that when all the way down the bottom, you won't be able to see it here, but yeah, there's a weep hole. So yeah, I worried for no reason, but hey, got a new gasket on the side. So, oh man, so this engine in this video is definitely going in the bike. So yeah, there's other stuff that I'm going to be doing in this video as well. Okay, so what we have here is the tail part of the fairings. Now these being aftermarket, I'm going to have to work them, as I've said with other parts in earlier videos. So for the original one, actually I don't even think it's original anyway, I think this might be an aftermarket one as well. But what I'm going to be doing is so that I can get all the correct measurements. So essentially I have to bring that down to about there. And also tidy up a lot of stuff. I'm going to do a plastic weld around in here, and I'm also going to be filling in the pillion handles, or where the pillion handle bolt goes through, because they shouldn't be that big. They are meant to be that big. So I'll be filling those in and then redoing the holes, and cleaning everything up. I've got Dremel, plastic welder, and just so I can use some things on my drill, just be a bit handy in case, because well, this one's I've had this for quite a long time, and there are parts of it missing from moving from a few places, from one place to another. Unfortunately, things get lost in move. But yeah, so we'll get on to the get all this stuff. I'm going to put my towel down and make sure it's all nice surface. Staple these. So I've got, you can get this stuff from like AliExpress or Alibaba, depending on where you are, Temu, eBay even. So these are heat staples. If I can just see where I put those. I've put them down somewhere. Ah, there they are. Right, so I'll grab one out. Let me just put you down for a second. Alright, so these little staples here, let's try and get the camera to stay focused. Alright, so they go into, it's fun one-handed while holding a camera, but yeah, so they go into, I'm left-handed too, people, but you get the gist. Okay, so I'm having troubles with one hand getting it in. Oh, look at that, got it. Right, so let's put that up against there. Right, so as you see, they heat up, and then you press it into the plastic. So I'll be doing it along all the cracks and just forming it all back up again, because I want to make sure all the measurements are good. Even if this is aftermarket, it's a lot better than this one. So the measurements just should be pretty good. All right. So, oh yeah. Also in this video, if I can get it done as well, is that I want to get the carburetors done. Yeah, I want to get service the carburetors. You know, when I first started the bike, if you go back to earlier videos, you'll hear the bike running before I stripped it down, and you can hear that the carbies definitely need to be serviced. It's an old bike. God knows when the last time these things would have been serviced. So yeah, we'll get it all onto that and crack on. All right, let's get moving, and we'll get on to getting the tail section put together like the old one, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I have gone ahead and just done some hot staples, just so that I can, bloody towel. Anyway, pick that up. Okay, so I've just done some hot staples, just so that I can have it all in sort of one movable piece. Not too sure where that bit's gone, but anyway. So yeah, I can get the basic measurement from that, and also, if I have any troubles, I can also get it on that side as well. Anyway, okay, so it's time for me to do some measuring up and then to start working that. Alright, alrighty, so I'm going to do something that I haven't done before. I haven't plastic welded before. I used to be a welder, so you know, I'm sure it's not going to be too difficult for me to do. You know, I've done stick welding, MIG welding. I haven't done TIG, and this is sort of what it reminds me of is TIG welding. So I'll get onto this, we'll get that filled in, and then we'll get everything all sanded down smooth so that it's all flush. And then I'll move on to cutting up some mesh to go in behind these two holes, and also for these two holes as well. Alright, let's crack on to that, shall we? And hopefully I can make this thing be as good as stock. So I generally have a knack for making things as like stock again that weren't stock and people can't tell. So here we go. Okay, so it doesn't look pretty at the moment, and it's not going to, but that is now all nicely joined up. Looks a bit messy, my first attempt, but you know, everything's all sealed and I can now get that all down flush and smooth just by simply sanding it. Okay, so that's all good now. It's all going to be joined up. I'm going to have to worry about it separating. I've checked over the front bit where it joins, and that's pretty good. Alright, so the next thing will be to cut up some mesh. Yeah, some mesh cut up so that I can fill in that area over. And same with these holes, do a little circle and sort of push, heat it. Use this one with the mesh to, you know, to get it to bind and to join up. And then I'll use this one again, and also, you know, plastic welding stick, and I'll start filling it in. Alright, let's crack on, shall we? Okay, so I have cut out my little pieces of mesh that I'll be putting into here, marked out where the hole, where the line's meant to be, so I'll be filling it in right there, melting it in on the other side. I've also got my little circles to go over on these two bits. Right, let's crack on with that, shall we? I'll just gotta wait for that to heat up. But yeah, let's crack on. Okay, so I've gone through and filled in all the areas. Once these dry off, as you can see, that one's still drying, or cooling down, sorry, drying. Once these are cooled down, then I can sand them all smooth, and for these I'll be able to do the holes. Yeah, so I've got to sand everything all down. So once I've done all that, I've also got a lot of stuff to get rid of as well, like this in here and this along here. So yeah, so I'll get onto that once this is cooled down, and yeah, then it'll be ready to be doing the the sanding to get it prepped for paint. Mad, it's coming along, coming along. All right, let's keep cracking. Okay, so we've got this all sort of, grounded down. So, all this is gone. That's all gone. Cleaned everything up. So now the next step to do for this will be to sand it. Sand, file, get everything all sort of nice and smooth on all the edges and everything like that, which I'm going to have to do for every piece of the fairing. That's fine. It's just all part of the job, really. If you want something to look good, you've got to put in the effort. Alright, so yeah. So it's got to file everything, sand everything, and then we can put primer down. As you can see, this hole's coming out pretty good. Okay, so the next step that we'll move on to now is for sanding and filing. And that'll be down in the marquee. So I can use water just to quickly wash everything away as I go along. Alright, so the next bit will be in the marquee. like I still have somewhere to weld. Oh joy. Alright. So I'm going to get most of this sanded up to a point, and yeah, I've got to do some plastic welding. That's all good, it's all good. Just holds me up a bit. So I'll finish filing it. So I'm just going through filing everything at the moment, getting all the burrs and all that kind of stuff off the edge of the plastic. And yeah, and then we'll move on to after I'll do some sanding on it first just to clean it up a bit. So there's no point going further into it until I plastic weld that. So probably gonna hit the back underneath there, just a bit orbital, just to smooth it out a bit. But otherwise, I'm gonna let this dry. I might speed up the process of drying, but yeah. Once that's done, I can get onto that, so we can get that welded up. But otherwise, it's looking pretty good. And once these two bits, where I'm happy with them, where I've got them before, you know, proper primer, yeah, then I'll move on to other bits like the sides, the under tray. I've got to get all that done as well. Of course, the nose. There's the old bits. Alright. Let's, yeah, I'll get onto that. Alright, get some primer filler down. And then it'll be on to doing proper sanding and stuff. Alright, so we have what I've been doing is I've just been sort of piling it on, because this will all be sanded off. Most of this will get sanded back, so most of it won't even be there anymore. But the idea is to layer it on, get it thick, because then I can sand it out and it'll be all smooth at the end of it. And you can see all the sort of like lumps and stuff like that that's still in the plastic. Alrighty, I'll put that there, and I'll let that sort of dry, and then we'll come back and give it a sand, and then we'll put some more on. Okay. Alright, so I've put down some primer filler, I've let that set. So I'm going to give it a sand. I've put a few coats down onto it to give me some, you know, some sanding room, so to speak. As well also the front mudguard. Alright, so I'll get on to sanding that, and then we'll see if we need to put more down after that. Alright, let's crack on. Okay, so I've done some primer fillering on there now. Primer filler. So just making sure that everything's going to smooth out, flatten out, level out, all that jazz. So I've done everywhere. I've also put 2 rivets in as well, just to give it a bit more support. And yeah, once that's all painted, it'll all blend in together. So it's still going to be sanded, because that's just primer filler. As I've said in another bit probably, that, you know, most of that just gets sanded back. And then primer will be proper, like, yeah, then normal primer will be going down, and that will be then getting reefer painted. So this is pretty much like, I'll probably do some sanding on it, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I've sanded it. But otherwise that's pretty much it for the tail in this video. So yeah, we'll get on to getting the carburetors done. Alright, so let's check back into there. Okay, so for the carburetors, I've gone ahead and gotten 4 containers, you know, carb 1, carb 2, carb 3, carb 4, and also just carbs. Alright, so that's all the other little bits and pieces that will go into there. So yeah, we'll get onto these, get the bowls off. We'll get the pilot screws out, and then get the bowls off, and then start removing the rest of the bits and pieces, and then we'll turn her over and we'll get into the top and get the diaphragm out, needle out, the slide out, and yeah. Alright. Alrighty, so as you can see in here, that's just an indication of how foul things are going to be on the inside. So all this is all got to be cleaned, so I've got to get everything apart. As I said, use the containers so that you can get, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, as I said before, and you should be fine. So just keep track of, the processes. I've done carburetors before, so for me it's not that big of a deal. But other people, if you're new to doing them or anything like that, yeah. Let's crack on, shall we? Okay. Alright, so as you can see just how fouled up these things were. Some of that's bounced out onto the bench. But yeah. So yeah. A lot of cleaning to do for these carburetors. But all new bits and pieces, so it'll be good and they'll be running awesome afterwards. So next we'll get the caps off, and we'll get the diaphragms, slides, and also the needle out as well. And yeah, then we start putting it all, well, no, not start putting all that together. So yeah, then after I've taken all that off, then I'll put it into a container and get it all cleaned up. Get all the gunk out of it. I've got to get the bleeder screws off too, which I've just realised I haven't done yet. But yeah, so I'll get those out as well. I'm just looking at the bowls, but I can do them as I'm cleaning them, and I can put them back in once I've... Alright, let's get these caps off and yeah, crack on. Alright, so the tops aren't that bad, which is good. They still have to be all cleaned up and everything, but yeah, so we've got everything out now. So now we start the fun of getting that cleaned, and then we can piece it all back together again. Alright, let's crack on. So, hit a snag. Went to start putting everything together, discovered that the diaphragms are the wrong size. So it's possibly the wrong kit. So I don't know if this is for a different ZX, but yeah, so I'm going to have to order more. Yeah, so quite a bit smaller than the original one. So that's the one that came in the kit. And as you can see, quite a bit smaller. Alright, so I've got to order some stuff, so this is going to be it in this video for the carbs. But as you can see, everything's been all cleaned up. Everything looks all good now. But these things were so blocked. Nothing was getting through them at all. Alright. Okay, and now I'll take you out to the tail section. Okay, so here is the tail section. So I've gotten everything sort of where I want it to be now. It's ready for priming. Or it's got to be sanded properly first and then primer put down. But yeah, everything's all good. So it's all one piece. Like it's, yeah. So all goods there. Everything's worked out well for this, and it's bike has been a bit of a headache. Alright, so I'll finish this bit here, and yeah, next bit will be the engine going into the bike. Woohoo! Alright, now we're up to getting the engine in. So we just got to turn the engine around and get it into a position that we're happy with. And then we're going to move the frame over the top of it and lower it down into it. And then probably also raise the engine up as well as we go along. Alright, so we've got to get the first bolt hinges down on the bottom. Then we've got to get the two side bolts back up the top. And then the one in the middle. Right. Alright, well that was fun. A little bit of a headache. Got some areas I've got to fix up on the paint. It's not very noticeable, but I know it's there and it's going to drive me batty. Otherwise, engine is in. Thanks to my boy Cody. Thanks buddy. That was really appreciated. Really was. I wouldn't have been able to get that in without you. So we've got the engine in now, so just going to finish this video up here. This has been our mission, is to get this sucker put back into the bike. Now I've still got to tighten up the bolts, but just to torque them all down, etc. and everything. So I'll get that done. I'm going to have a break and then I'll get that done. But yeah, so in the next video we're going to be fitting accessories, so stuff like the brakes, front and rear brakes. Get the carbies and all that kind of stuff. All the hoses put back on. I've also got to change all those bolts out because I've got new exhaust bolts. What else? Probably put on the ignition, the wiring harness, junction box, ECU, regulator, rectifier, all that jazz, chain sprocket. It's going to look like a bike soon. Woo, that means I'm not going to be long until I can ride it. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this one up here. So yeah, next video will be getting all that type of stuff done. Or the next video for the bike. I'm not too sure exactly what the next video will be, but it probably will be the bike. Next weekend. Anyway, so yeah, if you like what I'm doing, don't forget to the like buttons, hit subscribe. I'm trying to make something out of this channel. I really, really want to make something out of this channel. And I can't do it without you guys commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing the videos out to people, so get more in front of more people. So yeah, alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.